Today is Monday, May 16th, and I am starting this vlog from the biggest IKEA in the world. Today in class, we did the gender timeline activity, and I thought that was really interesting because I've never really thought about moments in my life where my gender made a huge difference in my life and how I conducted myself, but that's really made me reflect on certain instances where I'm like, wow, like being a girl had an influence on me at that time, or had an influence on how others were perceiving me, or sometimes even on how I perceived myself and how I thought I should act in a situation. One experience I had in high school where my gender was really noticed was when I was taking an engineering class, and I felt like I had to justify, and so people asked me why I was even in the class as a girl and why anyone who is a female would be interested in subjects such as engineering. I also had a very, very supportive aunt growing up who was an electrical engineer, and she was the one who very much pushed me towards engineering and said, like, you can do it and you can get through the schooling, and it doesn't matter that you're going to be one of the few girls because you are just as good as the guys and you will achieve just as much as they will. I loved touring Parliament today because I find governments very interesting, especially governments of other cultures. I always think it's great to compare it back to the US. Our tour guide acted like Sweden's representation of women in their parliament was low, even though it's 46%. That's almost 50-50. That's a very even gender representation in my eyes, especially compared to the 18% of women that we have in Congress. And I'm really looking forward to diving into what being a woman means to me. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Today is Tuesday, May 17th, and this vlog is coming to you from the home of the 1912 Olympics in the Stockholm Stadium. We talked about the glass ceiling and the idea of the lane breadth. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but the idea that women can achieve just as much as men, but it takes many more steps, or it's much more difficult for them to get to the end goal. So if a woman wants to be CEO, she can do it, but it's going to be much more difficult than if a man wanted to be CEO. Women haven't always been given the same opportunities as men. Example in this stadium right here, where women couldn't even compete in the Olympics. Even in today's society, where the U.S. women's soccer team brings in significantly more profit, they get paid significantly less. The women's soccer team is receiving backlash for fighting this wage inequality, even though they've won 3 World Cups. If the men's team loses a game, each player gets paid more, and the women's team doesn't get paid if they lose. Today is Wednesday, May 18th, and this vlog is coming to you from my bed, because I forgot to charge my camera to film on the boat. Today in class we discussed forced diversity and whether or not companies having quotas to read of how many females must be employed would be positive or negative towards overall diversity. And as I said in class, I still don't think that would help the overall gender equality. Giving a female a position because she's a girl and not because she deserves it almost undermines females and how hard some of them have worked for the things they do. And as a female, I would personally hate if I was given something or received a job based purely on my gender or another thing that I couldn't control about myself. Gender shouldn't play a role when it comes down to who receives a job, and forced diversity would just make gender even more important than it already is, going the exact opposite of what we're fighting for with gender equality. Supporting females to pursue careers in typically male-dominated fields is the best way to close the gender inequality gap. Otherwise, giving them the jobs just based on the fact they're a female doesn't solve anything at all. That's it for today's vlog, and I'll see you tomorrow. My roommates are laughing at me. Today is Thursday, May 19th, and I'm coming to you from the hallway. my roommates were laughing at me again. Today in class, we had the lady from the KTH office come in and talk to us. The part I found the most interesting was when she was talking about the number of female students in their programs. I was shocked to learn that there are almost 1/3 females at KTH, and that some of their majors are closer to 50%, whereas Iowa State is much lower than that. She did say that the chemical engineering department was 50%, whereas Iowa State were at 29%, and software engineering was 30%. At Iowa State, we're around 11%. Iowa State's engineering department for spring of 2016 was only 16% female, which is 2% below the national average in the United States of 18%. I love that KTH has so much more gender equality in their engineering fields. I know as a female that I would feel much more comfortable in a lot of my classes if I looked around and saw another female. While that doesn't stop me from pursuing my major, it does pose some issues. A lot of guys in my classes make fun of the girl in engineering or don't take me seriously because I am a girl. And I feel if there were more female represented in my classes, then maybe I wouldn't be treated as a secondhand student. Well, that's all for today. I'll see you next week and hopefully a more interesting location than this hallway.